This photo is called Artists Are the Keepers of the Between Worlds. This is near Soto. This is just in a random location that I scouted out. It was taken late summer. Looks bright out, but this was probably like 8:30 p.m. And you can see this heavy rim lighting right here on Anna's hair. This is because the sun was almost setting and you had this real golden light shining directly on their sides. You can see all the rim light on their skin. And then I just had a singular strobe that I borrowed from my friend. The work that went into this photo, I spent about, a long afternoon at my mother's house building these pedestals. The wood from these pedestals, along with all of my art projects, had been repurposed from prior photo shoots, and these pedestals I've used numerous times. I actually just used them a few months ago for a series of photo shoots with Sibel here. Sibel's become a primary collaborator and a super close friend. Just so much respect and appreciation for this human right there. Powerful creative force who has really helped me evolve my costume, set design, and overall concept production in the projects that I undertake. This incredible costumery right here is made by Alexis Devine, a Squirrel vs. Coyote. I don't think they're making it anymore, but they were prolific in their time when they were. The night before this photo shoot, carried these one by one and just stashed them in this ditch. My friend Avery at the time was living in an artist loft kind of down off the screen. She graciously let us all hang out there for the afternoon and get into costumes and get into makeup. And then we simply just walked up here and probably were up here for a tops of 15 minutes. Artists live in this realm where they transcend a lot of the restrictions and boxes that civilization and modern customs attempt to place on us. And so much of that is because of the active use of imagination and just seeing beyond the limits of our time, seeing beyond the limits of our current consciousness. The current modalities of consciousness that we espouse are just a small slice of the pie in all of the various forms of consciousness that humans can experience and also have experienced in prior times. We easily lose track of a lot of the nuances of former centuries and also former epochs and former ages. And we lose track that the way that we think right now, the way that our consciousness operates right now, is drastically different than how we thought in the 17th century or 100 BC or the first century of the Christian era, let alone what humans and how humans thought in the way that our consciousness operated, say, 10,000 years ago. What about 40,000 years ago? And I think that also our modern consciousness, because we live in this very unique technological age, we often believe that our current consciousness is superior. Archaic cultures were much more connected to nature and had a much more profound relationship with the beings of nature, both the material and the non-material. This is the between world. Here we have civilization and here we have plants. And this is very wild. This is not a park right here. This is kind of like no man's land. And that's what's fascinating about cities, is there are still no man's land. Like underneath the freeway is a no man's land. In a very symbolic sense, the void or the between world where the consciousness and imagination of artists exist, we're kind of invisible right now. You see all these cars driving by. These cars are coming around a bend, and behind us, so behind this photo, this road goes to a little bump, and the bump goes into a hillside, and then you get all this brambles. When these cars on the freeway are coming around the bend, they don't see us. There's just actually a very brief moment in time where they can see us when they're right about parallel to us. And there's also symbolism in that as well, because a part of this modern current consciousness that we have is very hyper-focused. We're often not aware of our larger surroundings, both in the material and non-material realm. And most people when they're driving, just based on the necessity of driving, is you have to be hyper-focused on what's in front of you. Often people aren't even hyper-focused on what's in front of them. They're distracted. They're talking with someone or they're looking at their phone. So they're not aware of much beyond what's either right in front of them or afoot, their phone or whatever. What's interesting is that probably very few people saw us. And if they did see us in their peripheral view, it was probably a flash where they were like, did I just see what I think I saw? This is essentially a dead space. And to come in here and bring all this creativity without causing a ruckus. I feel like this was a very good middle ground for an impactful photo, guerrilla style photo in the city. Yeah, so artists are the keepers of the between worlds.